million miles from you. So I'm gonna let you go. Oh boy, if you only knew. Not a day goes by without you on my mind. You couldn't go on together. You said nothing lasts forever. Though you can't deny, hold it all inside. No, you can trust me, just close your eyes, knowing that I'm around. I'll be around. Yeah. You're not scared of love, just scared of love. Alright, alright, enough. Just tell me if you want my love or not, or not. 'Cause I don't wanna be that one. Still a million miles from you, yeah. So I'm gonna let you go. Oh boy, if you only knew. Not a day goes by without you on my mind. You couldn't go on together. You said nothing lasts forever. Though you can't deny, hold it all inside. No, you can trust me, just close your eyes, knowing that I'm around. I don't wanna be that one. No, still a million miles from you. So I'm gonna let you go. You go. Oh boy, if you only knew. Not a day goes by without you on my mind. You couldn't go on together. You said nothing lasts forever. Though you can't deny, hold it all inside. No, you can trust me, just close your eyes, knowing that I'm around.
Tell him I need my money right now. Probably the juice, they stole out my crown. Yeah. Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup, yeah. But don't waste my energy, my energy. I don't got much, don't be wasting all my energy. I keep it tight, don't let nobody get close to me. My heart is right, don't question my integrity. No, I thought we would be just fine, and I thought your heart was like mine. But let me find out, you've been going around throwing shots, running plots. Come on, man, tryna block my blessings, but no need for comparisons. What's from me won't be from me. Yeah, I'ma go through just to grow through. But pay me what you owe me for, I make what you've been saying about me true, true. Tell him I need my money right now. Probably the juice, they stole out my crown. Yeah. Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup, yeah. Don't waste my loyalty, my loyalty. I let you in back then because I couldn't see. But now it's clear you ain't ever been true to me. My intuition ain't ever lied, I had to leave. Handle your business, do what you think you need to do to get your revenge. But you won't break me, God as my witness. Past the point of no return, I'm on a mission. Tryna block my blessings, but no need for comparisons. What's from me won't be from me. Yeah, I'ma go through just to grow through. But pay me what you owe me for, I make what you've been saying about me true, true. Tell him I need my money right now. Probably the juice, they stole out my crown. Yeah. Sorry to tell you, I know my value. I'm gonna recoup, yeah. Don't waste my
she's putting all of her cards down on the table, knowing there's no way that you'll be able to win this one. But she's somebody else in the making. First, she just gotta stop all the faking, and she'll be there. But she's wondering if it's gonna feel like she's forever. Wondering if it's gonna feel like this whenever she leaves her safe space. She leaves her safe space. Wondering if it is forever, or is there some place that will make her feel better? Make her feel better. Then that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Somebody say, don't be afraid of loving yourself, 'cause that is all you got in the end. You got in the end. But she's wondering if it's gonna feel like she's forever. Wondering if it's gonna feel like this whenever she leaves her safe space. She leaves her safe space. Wondering if it is forever, or is there some place that will make her feel better? Make her feel better. Then that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Talking to myself 'cause I don't know what I want. Yeah, I'm here talking to myself like someone's gonna respond. I'm getting tired of myself 'cause I don't know what I want. But I'm not out here on my own. Wondering if it is forever, or is there some place that'll make her feel better? Make her feel better. And that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Yeah, that's where she'll go. That's where she'll go. Talking to myself 'cause I don't know what I want. Yeah, I'm here talking to myself like someone's gonna respond. I'm getting tired of myself 'cause I don't know what I want. But I'm not out here on my own.
Yeah. I want a house in the hills I pay big bills for. I ain't got in pocket. I wanna empty out my wallet. I wanna stop motion, stand still. Wallace and Gromit. I wanna talk more endlessly. I wanna neurotically vomit. I want more dollars from my mama. I want a palace in Prada. I want a Gucci bag where I can store my sorrows and hardships. I wanna gold plate my partners. I want endless tomorrows. I want a lot more than I got right now. But that's the problem. You could give me every little thing I'd ever want, but I'd never have enough till the day I had it all. Yeah, you can give me every little thing I ever want, but I'd never have enough till the day I had it all.
Oh, I see what you want, baby, but it might be just a little more than I can give you.
Second thought, I want $1 for everyone, not just for my mama. I wanna hit the ball out on random pedestrians. I want my questions to be answered till my brain bored and questionless. I want more self-assurance. I don't ever want to second guess. I want so to shut the fuck up. Less he trying to tell me yes again. I want so many best friends that I can't tell what friendship is. I want the diamonds, gold, and glitter. I want fast cars I'll never whip. I want it all till I'm empty in my castle of everything.
Oh, I see what you want, baby, but it might be just a little more than I can give you.
I want a cushy job
vibe that pay big bills and cheap thrills. Wanna mob out with my homies like Timmy, Tommy, and Dill. I'm not trying to be famous, okay, maybe a lil. Since I'm a rapper, I should buy me some grills and gold frills that I can sleep on while I contemplate pills and peep on, hold still. Might sedate you, just a fire at will. I got an appetite for hardship, big fish meets krill. Don't sleep, don't spill, I ain't got my fill. I want the beauty queen to make me show my pearly whites. The type of movie scene that make you count your blessings twice. It's not the only thing that's on my list, I checked it twice and sent it off to Santa's elves like I've been playing nice.
I see what you want. Oh, I see what you want. Oh, I see what you want. But it might be a little more than I give you.
You broke my heart a million times. Can't count the times I made you cry. Oh, it's such a mess now, and we're burning out. I get so sad at the thought of losing you. I'm losing you. I can't bear the thought of losing you. I'm losing you.
Hey.
You're still perfect as the day goes by. Even the worst ones hate, they make me smile.
Let's make it happen,
I
y'all.
stop the world if it would give us time, yeah, to work things out, to work things out,
What up, everybody?
to work things out.
Javaro, Princessa, Leticia, Sherry,
To work things out.
Miss Drea, Steven, Jill,
To work things out. To work things out. Can we be honest?
Can we be
You're
honest?
my comfort zone. Whatever I say,
Don't let me go.
I know you're angry, babe.
I know you angry,
And
babe.
I am cold. I get so sad.
I get so sad.
The thought of losing you. I'm losing you. I can't bear the thought of losing you. I'm losing you. You're still perfect as the day goes by. Even the worst ones hate, they make me smile. I stop the world if it would give us time, yeah, to work things out, to work things out. To work things out, to work things out, yeah, yeah. To work things out, to work things out. To work things out, to work things out, to work things out, to work things out, to work things out.
Let's work things out,
To
baby.
work things out, to work things out,
Let's work
to
things
work
out.
things out, to work things out, to work things out.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you guys are all enjoying your Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday off. You shouldn't be working today. You should not be working today. Everybody should be chilling, relaxing as we celebrate the King's birthday. We are reading the Book of Obsidian, a manual for the 21st century Black American gentleman. Welcome to another chapter of Rich People Read, where we read a book a month to instruct you in the ways of the successful through the power of reading. Let's get all this stuff together. I'm excited to read. I'm feeling a lot better, you guys. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm wondering if I should go take a test today to see if I'm still positive for COVID. Don't know if I should go take a test or should I just chill maybe 2-3 more days before I even bother to take a test. You know, how often do you take a test? Once you get tested once, is it even worth it to keep going to get tested for the next week or 2 weeks? Or should you just chill? I'm not really sure. Yes, Steven, I'm feeling better, bro. COVID is a trip. It's a roller coaster. So for those that don't have it or has never had it, it's a roller coaster. You'll be up and down, up and down, up and down. For me, my ups and downs is body aches. It's not my breathing. My breathing has been absolutely okay. I haven't had headaches, no migraines. It is simply like as if I've been in a fight or as if I worked out. So, and then I'd be sore all over. And then my neck would get stiff. But I'm feeling a lot better this morning. I'm glad you guys are here because we're getting ready to read the Book of Obsidian, chapters 21, 22, 23, and 24. Yes, we certainly are. What is the Book of Obsidian? I'm glad you asked. Well, over the past decade, there's been many things said and written about the state of Black love, right? Black love. Some good and in many cases, mostly bad. No one had the balls to say what so badly needed to be said until now. After more than a decade of the most intense boots on the ground study of relationships and science of human mating, Mumia Obsidian Ali, one of the founding fathers of the Black Manosphere and longtime podcaster, talk radio host, blogger, and writer, finally weighs in and gives his take. The Book of Obsidian is an unflinchingly honest look at the state of dating and mating in the 21st century Black America, and it ain't pretty. Definitely not for the faint of heart or the politically correct that's so prone to being triggered these days. Ali's book is a hands-on manual that gives today's Black man the tools to navigate the minefield that is Black love today. Read the book if you dare and transform your life. That's what we're reading, ladies and gentlemen. And if you don't have the book itself, go over to the description of this video. I have a link to go grab you the book. It's only $8 if you want the ebook version, but I do suggest everybody get a physical copy. For the books that we read, I want you to have a physical copy of the book. That way, when you build your library, you'll be able to say, oh, I read that, I read that, I read that, I read that. Imagine this year alone, you're gonna have at least 12 books. For a lot of you guys, when's the last time you can say you read 12 books in 1 year? How many of you can say that you've read 12? Most of you don't read at all. Let's keep it 100. I know it's cool to say you read and all that kind, but y'all don't read. Don't nobody read. You know, let's just keep it 100. People don't read. They say they read. A lot of people say they do shit that they claim. Oh, I work. No, you don't. You don't work out. I hear it all the time. Oh yeah, I do a little. No, you don't. Stop it. You don't. You don't do shit. You don't read. You don't work out. You don't do any of that. But with each other, we can. With each other, we can. We've already knocked out Think and Grow Rich. We've already knocked out the Moynihan Report, and now we're knocking out the Book of Obsidian. Absolutely, you'll be able to say that you read this book. So come on in, grab a copy, and if you don't have a book and you want to read along with us, it's okay, because I'm going to put the book up on the screen for everybody. For those who's new here, who hasn't been here with us before, I'm going to read to you live these next 4 chapters. I'm going to read them to you. And you do realize that reading a book does not require you to actually have eyes on letters. You don't have to have your eyes on the paper yourself. That's the whole purpose of audiobooks, right? You know, people who listen to audiobooks are still avid book readers. It just means they have somebody else reading it to them, like a nursery rhyme. Well, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to read to you guys the book today. And so I want you to make sure that you are in a comfortable situation. Hopefully you're at home. Maybe you can cast this video up on your screen, cast it on your big screen. You know, I prefer to be up on your big screen so I could read to you that way. And you can walk around the house and do a little bit of light cleaning, you know, do a fold, you know, go ahead and fold up them clothes, fold them clothes up, go ahead and get them out the dryer. Fold them up, listen to your boy Shannon read, and then you can be folding them drawers. You know what I'm talking about. Knock out. We can walk and chew gum at the same time. I appreciate you guys being here. What are my friends talking about today? What's RCC? I see RCC's name everywhere. RCC goes to the gym, but he soaks in the tub. That's not enough. Not enough. You can soak in the tub at home. You can soak in a hot tub at home. But that's okay, RCC. We're changing that for you, right? We're changing that for you. What's Princessa said? Thank you for your support. Oh, Princessa's out there helping out the channel. And then Lakeisha is helping out the channel. Lakeisha's at home washing. That's right. Let's knock out things at the same time. Look, Erica Penn. She says she literally just got a load of towels out the dryer. That's right, Erica. Fold them towels and listen to your boy at the same time. Exactly. And before you start folding the towels, make sure you throw another load in the washer. Throw another load in the washer so we can have all of it done. You know, I'll give you a quick second to get that knocked out. All right. I'm glad you guys are here. Did you guys have a wonderful weekend? How did your weekend go? A lot of you guys should not be at work today. You know, today is a national holiday. It's a national holiday. So a lot of businesses are closed. I mean, if you're in retail, you probably are at work. But look at that, you guys. C. Anthony Johnson. It's like C. Anthony Johnson came out of nowhere. And suddenly is just a huge benefactor of this channel. C. Anthony Johnson just came out of nowhere and became a huge benefactor of this channel. He says, salute my brother. Hooah! Let's put in that work. C. Anthony Johnson has been blessing our channel, has been investing in our channel, blessing and investing. C. Anthony Johnson has been blessing and investing in our channel often this year. Shout out to C. Anthony Johnson. Let me go ahead and update the system because this brother has blessed his channel with $10 of his hard-earned money that he did not have to give this channel. Boom, boom, boom. He's on the screen. C. Anthony Johnson, my brother, you are now the stream sponsor. Thank you so much for your contribution, man. I appreciate you. Thank you. And salute to you. Everybody throw your ones up.
Being number one isn't easy.
Everybody throw your ones up for C. Anthony Johnson and his support of what we're doing here. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. You guys got your clothes ready so you can fold them up. You got the load ready. If you're not doing that, maybe you need to be dusting. Let's dust your house, right? You know what I'm talking about. Don't act like your house is completely dust-free. Let's dust the house up. There's things that can be clean, can be tidied up around the house. Don't just sit on your ass. Do something to make your life better while you listen to me read this book. I appreciate you. Hyatt Kai is in the house. What up, bro? It's good to have you here. Donnie Mack, Mr. Donnie Mack is here. Good morning, bro. All right, guys. Wait, Sherry says it's a work day for me. The ATLs got a little snow yesterday. Sherry, what do you do that you working on Martin Luther King Jr.'s holiday? What do you do that you have to work today? Why are you working today? Today should be your off day. That's not cool. I wish you was just chilling at home, relaxed, getting paid anyway. That's what I wish. That's what I wish for you. Unfortunately, you got to go to work, huh? That's cool. All right, guys, let's get ready to go. Let's get ready to read. My man Daryl Long is in the house, you guys. Hoorah. Hoorah. Shout out to my guy Daryl Long. He said he's stopping in to show his boy Shan some love. Everybody, I've already told you guys to follow his channel, right? All you got to do is type Uncut with Daryl. 2 R's, 1 L. Uncut with Daryl. 2 R's, 1 L. Go follow his channel, please. Support. See, there's room for everybody on YouTube. And so if you guys are a content creator of any kind, I want you to support them. It doesn't cost nothing. I could see if subscriptions was like a dime every time you click. Like if you wanted to subscribe to somebody, you had to pay a dime. Like you had to load your account with $10 and every subscription was a nickel. The subscriptions are free. The likes are free. So there's no reason why I subscribe to all of you. So you guys got to subscribe to these people. Shout out to my guy Uncut with Daryl Long. Please, everybody, support Daryl and go follow his channel. Look at that. My man, everybody, throw your ones up.
Being number one isn't easy.
Throw your ones up to Tea Leaves 2. What does Tea Leaves 2 say? He said, look, Shan, I'm behind currently. Let me move this up because I've been looking at that and I want it above that right there. All right, there we go. He says, I'm behind currently on chapters 9 through 12, but had to do love. Wait, hold on, let me see. I'm behind currently on chapters 9 through 12, but I had to do love. It's helping me start reading more. Exactly. Thank you so much, brother. Yeah, that's exactly the point. The point is we can learn and become. That's why it's called Rich People Read, because I don't know anybody that's really wealthy with money that don't read. If you ever go to anybody's house, right? I don't know. You guys know a few people with money and they have big houses, big homes, big estates. When you go, they always have a library, don't they? And part of the reason why, let me just do it like this. Some of the secret to their success is the fact that they've read books that's taught them how to do the things that they do, or how to manage the things that they have, or whatever it is. And far too often do many of us want to become wealthy, want to do well, but we don't do the things necessary to become that. And I know a lot of people don't have a lot of people around themselves to be able to get the game or be told what to do. You guys haven't, how many of you have a mentor? How many of you guys have a mentor that's going to tell you and show you what you need to do? Many people don't have a mentor. You just out there in the world winging it, doing it on your own. So if I can help just my little bit, in addition to the other shows that I do on my channel, if I can say, listen, why don't we just read a little bit? It's just Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's just 3 days out the week for a couple hours. We all got the time. We blow so much time on Netflix. Why can't we do a little bit of that at reading a book? So shout out to Tea Leaves, everybody. Everybody throw your ones up to Tea.
Being number one isn't easy.
And he hit us with a $20 super chat. You know what that does, though? That makes him the stream sponsor. Let me update to him with the stream sponsor because he hit us with a $19.99 super chat. I'm going to put his name, Tea Leaves 2. Boom. Tea Leaves 2 is now the stream sponsor. Thank you for your blessing, brother. Thank you for your blessing, and thank you for your investment in my channel. Is it one thing that you said you're behind chapters 9 through 12? What about the chapters after that? Because today we're reading chapter 21. So did you read chapters 13 through 20? You caught that one. The only one you need to catch is 9 through 12. Let me know. I'm curious. All right, guys, let's get ready to go. Let's get ready to go. Let's get ready to go, you guys. All right. All right, guys, let's switch it up. Let's switch up the screens. Uh-oh, we on the wrong. Hold on. Rich People Read. Get over here. Let me fire up my book app. I don't even got the books app ready. I'm not even prepared myself. What's wrong with me? Let's get this going. Let's close this. Let's move this over here. Move this down and boom. All right. Chapter 21. Lil Wayne, poster child of the SYSBM movement. Everybody remember what the SYSBM stands for? Somebody type it in the chat. Type it in the chat what SYSBM stands for. Type it in the chat. What does SYSBM stand for? Anybody know? Who knows what SYSBM stands for? I could tell you, but I'd rather you guys tell each other. I'm waiting to see it. What does SYSBM stand for? Bam. Anderson the Great said it first. Let me throw him up on the screen. Anderson the Great. I like that name. Anderson the Great. That sound, I don't know. Maybe it's just the syllables, the way the word. I mean, that just sounds fucking powerful. Anderson the Great. Save yourself, black man. Absolutely. Ooh, excuse me. Let me throw it up again. Save yourself, black man. Save yourself, black man. Exactly. Even Princessa knows. Mr. Donnie Mac, Stephen Day got it, but Anderson the Great said it first. Save yourself, black man. Exactly. That's what SYSBM stands for. It's a movement, right? And we're going to talk about that today. I'm feeling better, you guys, so I'm going to start back up with my podcast. Remember, I got diagnosed last Wednesday, so everything had to come to a complete halt. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do any check this out podcast. I couldn't do any high value Shan. I couldn't do anything. I just needed to sleep. So I slept between last Wednesday and today, I've been asleep. Haven't gone. I'm quarantined, right, with my sons. We haven't gone anywhere. We just locked in, having all our food delivered, and we played a little basketball in the backyard. But that's about it. To break the monotony and to not fall into too deep of a cabin fever, we went out in the back and shot some basketball. But other than that, we've been locked in. But I'm feeling better, so we're gonna do some we're getting back on our regular schedule, you guys. So yes, chapter 21, Lil Wayne, poster child of the Save Yourself, Black Man movement. You had a lot of crooks try to steal your heart, never really had luck, couldn't figure it out. How to love. Oh, I remember that song. I don't want to rap it though. You had a lot of moments that didn't last forever. Now you in the corner trying to put it together. How to love. Y'all remember that song? All right, here we go. Everybody locked in? Turn your volumes up. If you have your ebooks ready, read along with me. If you have a physical copy, make sure you have your highlighter so you can highlight or underscore the important parts. Other than that, just listen to me and we're going to blaze right through. This is only 9 pages. This chapter is only 9 pages. You guys already know how fast this is, right? Especially when it's like 10 pages. That goes by quick. We knocked that out in like, 10 minutes or so? All right, here we go. It didn't take long for the loyal opposition to the Black Manosphere in general and the burgeoning SYSBM passport bros, wing of it in particular, to highlight the recent news of rap legend Lil Wayne's engagement to white, plus-sized, and Australian fashion model Letitia Thomas, to argue that such is a quote-unquote bad look for us. Hardly surprising to this audience, yours truly not only begs to differ, but I will take it a step further. That far from Lil Wayne's impending nuptials being a quote-unquote bad look for the SYSBM movement, it will prove to be a huge boost to it. How so, might you ask? Read on, dear reader, read on. The quote, pro-black argument against SYSBM. This is the pro-black. This is what the pro-black people have when they argue against the SYSBM movement. While it isn't clearly articulated as such, I mean, come on, let's be honest. Nobody ever has accused the pro-black crowd of being the most lucid thinkers out there. The pro-black argument against not only the SYSBM passport bros movement and the Black Manosphere as a whole is really rooted in what they see as a counter to the former's virulently anti-Black American woman ideology. If you will kindly recall, in my previous column or in my previous chapter, Are Black Women Fun? The Black Youth Project's hit piece on the SYSBM movement sums the notion up aptly. Quote, for them, this esoteric cabal rationalizes their views about Black pathology, their intentional decision to have children with non-Black women, and to live abroad or in the middle and upper middle class white neighborhoods they call Pleasantville. Proponents believe that the SYSBM is a growing international movement, but in reality, it's just a regurgitation of unresolved problems and internalized racism and misogynoir amongst Black men that have found a home on the internet. And, quote, although supporters of the SYSBM movement view themselves as living their best possible lives and expanding their romantic options, the motto is laced with virulent misogyny and overt anti-Black racism. It associates Blackness with danger and discomfort and stagnation, whereas whiteness is associated with tranquility and security and upward mobility. Additionally, it endorses conservative talking points by blaming Black people's behavior for persistent racial inequality. As I noted in my previous column, the author of the said hit piece, Mr. Aaron Fountain Jr., makes use of the term misogynoir no less than 4 times, which goes to the pro-Black bromides against the Black Manosphere SYSBM. Moreover, both Fountain, Black Youth Project, as well as the pro-Black opponents of the Black Manosphere and the SYSBM movement argue that the real problem, to the extent that one even exists, right, is really with the very Black men within the Black Manosphere SYSBM movement themselves. And Lil Wayne's latest moves on the relationship/marital front is yet another black eye on Black men writ large. Whatever one makes of this premise, and let the record show that your correspondent thinks it's bunk, this sentiment is by no ways new. Black women, for example, and in particular, are especially sensitive to even the hint that the better off Black men, those who are successful, though the Black men who have something to offer Black women outside of the bedroom and who can make a good long-term husband, just might be heading off for greener pastures somewhere else. Historically, that is to say, over the past 30 years or so, this hypervigilance on the part of the sisterhood was focused on white women. But in more recent years, say the past 10 years or so, the vigilance has expanded to include all non-Black women, non-ADOS Black women, lighter-skinned Black women, thinner, more shapely Black women. In essence, any woman who isn't, as I like to say on my daily radio talk show, a Jill Scott with a big chop and a Grace Jones paint job. While the colorism, which really means Black men who exercise choices in mates other than me, argument among Black men has been raging for more than a century and has very long history in this country, it has been joined more recently by featureism and body fat shaming, cultural appropriation, and other isms that Black women have built entire brands as social media personalities, thought leaders, and influencers online. Indeed, such names such as Crystalline Carrison and Chrissy, both on YouTube, are clear and present examples. Another is the piece appearing in the United Kingdom's Guardian newspaper, the British equivalent to the Grey Lady, titled "Why Dark-Skinned Black Girls Like Me Aren't Getting Married," dated April 8th, 2019. You see, the pro-Black crowd, of which all the aforementioned is a part of, would have everyone believe that as soon as a Black man does well in life, as soon as a Black man does good in life, he's making a beeline for anything that isn't Alec Weck. Evidence to the contrary, like that which I presented in last week's column, last week's chapter, SYSBM, the Hidden Self-Love Movement, Negro Manosphere. Be damned. This is the fundamental premise that the pro-Black crowd on Black social media brings forth against the SYSBM movement. And as Lil Wayne's movement clearly demonstrates, it's a premise that is increasingly falling on deaf ears. Now, you may think that I just contradicted myself. After all, Lil Wayne is getting married to a white and a foreign-born woman, right? Well, before the shouting starts, let's consider the fact that Weezy was married to a black woman, and the following 3 baby mamas he would have were also all black too. Of course, when it comes to the pro-black police, these little facts never get in the way of good old-fashioned dick policing. Another old saw that the pro-black crowd often goes on in incoherent harangue about is how black men like Lil Wayne routinely gun for bottom shelf Beckies. In other words, standards that are rigidly imposed on black women suddenly fly out the window when it comes to non-black and especially white women. This is supposedly the case with Miss Thomas. She's a plus-size fashion model and is seen as a clear contradiction since denizens of the Black Manosphere present company included have been on black women about. But once again, and is so often the case with the usual suspects, the devil is in the details. Let's consider Lizzo and Letitia, shall we? Both of these women are comparable height. The former lists in at 5 feet 10 inches, while the latter, according to her Wilhelmina Models page, is just 1 inch shorter. However, there is literally a huge difference between the two on the scale. While Letitia is no doubt a big girl at roughly, 200 pounds, Lizzo is outright colossal at over 300 pounds. Only the most ideologically blinkered or intellectually dishonest would attempt to put both of these ladies into the same damn basket. Just eyeballing them both. And I'm not saying that either has to be your personal cup of tea. One can easily see a big, pardon the pun, difference between the two. And this difference shows Letitia, the white girl that Lil Wayne is supposedly had been marrying, Letitia is a world-renowned fashion model, gracing the front pages of women's apparel websites like Fashion Nova and Forever 21. One must ask, where is Lizzo being feted? It's not like black women singers haven't also moonlighted as fashion models. Ciara has done it, and so has the late, great Whitney Houston. To my knowledge, Lizzo isn't even known as a double threat. A singer-performer and a high fashion model, the latter of which, as Letitia Thomas clearly proves, can be done these days if you're plus-sized. But the pro-black opposition's view is that black men should simply accept big black women, no matter what, because the one major thing that black women bring to the table is the fact that they are black, which brings us to another very likely reason as to why Lil Wayne would choose to put his passport in the sky. The attitude factor. Uh-oh, y'all. Let's talk about the attitude factor. Let's discuss the attitudes. The attitudes. What up, First Gen Corporate? Good to have you here, bro. Tap in with us, man. Just sit back and chill. Make sure you type salute so you can see if you win. The attitude factor, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what I like to call the attitude factor. As I've noted in many chapters on this website, black women, for whatever reason, and there are many, have a well-earned reputation for being difficult to deal with. I'm trying to be as diplomatic as possible, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to be diplomatic as possible, ladies and gentlemen. Words like sassy, words like saucy, words like opinionated, and yeah, I'll tack on the list, bitchy, are commonly used in conjunction with black women. And from where I sit, there is very, very little in the way of evidence that this word association is going to lose much steam anytime soon. While it may be true that at least some black men like a quote unquote challenge, there's a few small percentage of brothers that want to challenge from his woman. What can no longer be denied is that an increasing number of black men so intensely dislike these damn attitudes of so many black women that they're beginning to travel as far away as Australia to find women of whatever color who are more amenable and, yes, submissive. Let me say it again. Submissive to them. We don't know for certain that this is indeed the case with Lil Wayne and Letitia, but it is something of an accepted barbershop truism among black men that, as a general proposition, non-black / white women are more approachable, easier to talk to, and easier to work with than ADOS black women. I want to emphasize ADOS black women. All other things being equal. If this is true for Weezy, we can then easily see how and why he made the move he did with Letitia, the white girl from Australia who's overweight, but an international plus size model, because likely she's more friendly. The response on the part of the pro-black contingent online is to say that these are essentially weak black men. That's what they call, sidebar, that's what they call us, right? If you want a woman that's going to be agreeable, you want somebody who's friendly, oh, you just a weak nigga. Sidebar. Oh, you can't handle no strong black woman that's going to snap her neck and put her finger in your face. Hang up in your face when she upset and have an attitude and talk shit. You need to be strong for that. If you can't handle me when I'm like that, then you just weak. Right? Ladies, this is Shan talking to you. Sidebar. That's true, right? We're weak. So if Shan doesn't want to deal with a woman who is snapping her neck, talking like that and shit with her long fucking raptor claws, snapping her fingers all in my face, right? Sucking her teeth and putting her finger up while every sentence and every syllable that she says, then I'm just weak, right? That's what it is. I'm a weak brother, and I just can't handle a strong. I can't handle a strong woman like you. Got it. The response on the part of the pro-black contingent online is to say that these are essentially weak black men who refuse to take nonsense from black women. These are not real black men, because a real man would be able to handle a saucier black woman, right? Indeed. It is part of black American culture. It is part of black American cultural life, and equally as strong as cultural expectation that black men essentially put up with the sliding scale of meanness, overbearing, and antisocial behaviors of black women. Nor is this something that is limited solely to the relationship, mating, marital realm. It is something that can easily be observed in other black male and female interaction formats, such as familia, collegial, even in dealing with the proverbial black women at the post office, the DMV, or the supermarket. The cumulative impacts, the micro-fuckery of so many black women on the black male psyche over time, in some cases decades, just adds up bit by bit until one day a brother snaps and decides that he's got to do something different. He decides that he just got to do something different. I don't know what y'all talking about over here in the chat, sidebar, but I hope I hit some nerves. You know, sassy sisters, attitude sisters. That's us. We weak men if we can't handle a woman who got all that damn attitude. Right. Let's continue. What black woman, and by extension, their pro-black allies, are going to have to understand and accept is that attitude matters, and that it can and will trump your looks, especially when it comes to anything long term. Many Black women today see any form of cooperation with Black man as tantamount to capitulation, and hey, it's a free country, but they cannot be mad when an increasingly number of Black men, from the competent everyday brother to the Little Waynes of the world, start looking at the front door. The choice is yours, ladies. The choice is yours. SYSBM by the numbers. While no hard and fast numbers are, as far as I know, as of this writing, are available as to precisely how many Black American brothers are heading out of country to find love, sex, feminine companionship, what we do know in this year of 2020, U.S. Census is the following. 1, at no point in documented American history have Black women outpaced Black men insofar as interracial marriages are concerned. You've never outpaced Black men. Number 2, there is a rate of interracial marriages of 2-to-1 of Black men to Black women since the landmark 1967 Loving versus Virginia U.S. Supreme Court decision, with no signs of that abating anytime soon. Number 3, that Black American women continue to be the least partnered. I'm going to repeat this one again. Black American women, if this is you, if you are a Black American woman, I'm talking to you. That Black American women continue to be the least partnered, least married women in the country. Indeed, proportionately speaking, the spinster bubble is largely made up of Black women. You know what a spinster is. 4, that a full 30% of Black America's best and brightest Black men are now dating and mating, quote unquote, out. And the trend line is clearly pointing upwards, heading into the mid 21st century. And number 5, that there are nearly 500,000 more Black men married than Black women. A fact that cuts against the well-worked narrative on these issues by Black women and their spokesmen and women, advocates and surrogates over the past nearly half a century. The beat goes on. You can't fight the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you just can't argue the numbers. And if the whole of 2019, and most especially the final few weeks of last year, is anything to go by, all of the above is only likely to greatly increase. The trend line is undeniable here, ladies and gentlemen. Something that even the most diehard pro-Black woman advocate is hard-pressed to ignore. The real questions are these. Number 1, what are Black women going to do about it? Number 2, what is the pro-Black crowd's plan to care for these women as they move through their middle and later years? I mean, they ain't gonna have no husbands. Many of them ain't gonna have no children, or their children is gonna be living their own lives and not want to be bothered with their old parents. These are questions that will be further examined in a future chapter, so stay tuned. In the meantime, Lil Wayne may just be the single biggest exemplar of the SYSBM Passport Bros movement it had yet. May he and his lady have much happiness. And that's chapter. That's the chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, what are you guys going to do about it? What are y'all going to do about it? You going to maintain that sassy attitude, or you going to change your mind? You going to still be a know-it-all? You going to still talk too damn much? You going to still be opinionated on everything? You're not going to listen? You're going to have to just be... Look, the choice is yours. By and large, Black men want Black women, but we're not dealing with the fucking attitude. I can tell you that. Not long term. No, bye. We don't care how pretty you are. We do not care how pretty you are. Your looks do not trump your attitude. All right, guys. Chapter 22, Kobe Bryant, Black Women, and SYSBM. Kobe Bryant, Black Women, and SYSBM. Here we go. Wait a minute. Let me see. I'm not about to read. This is all these lyrics from songs. So EPMD, Gold Digger, 3 Times Dope, Funky Dividends, Mike Jones, back then you wanted me, now you all on me. You didn't want me. I remember that song. And then Kanye West. Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing. She ain't fucking with no broke niggas. All right, we're gonna skip all of it. We're gonna skip the songs. That's shortened the whole chapter to 8 pages. All right, here we go, guys. See, Mickey, what are you talking about, Mickey? See, y'all, see, brothers, look, Mickey said, I might pull back just a tad. Mickey, like, I might relax. I mean, because, you know, I know Mickey she could have her neck snapping moments too, right, Mickey? Mickey could be like, ain't nobody, She said, I might pull back just a tad bit. I might pull back just a little bit. What is Miss Carrington says, you're going to be peaceful or petulant? What's important to you? You're going to be peaceful or petulant? Nikki says, it ain't no fun if I don't buck. Nuck if you buck, right? Y'all black women better get it together if you want to be able to deal with a man long term. Or maybe you don't want to deal with a man long term. That seems to be the new going trend. It's like all you need is our sperm. You just need us to help make the babies. After that, we're useless to you. You don't even need us no more. You don't need us to do anything, right? Well, we know what the pandemic showed. That was bullshit. And if you could look at any old women today, you'll realize that's bullshit too. But see, a lot of women think they got more time than they have. And a lot of women feel that, you know, that they're not going to be 70 years old in need of somebody to help them bring a box in out the trunk of it. I'm just saying, women have it in their mind that they don't need men when they do. And even when you think you don't need one in the house, you still need men no matter what. To do almost any and everything. If your refrigerator goes out, you need a man. You're not moving the refrigerator. You're not repairing the refrigerator. So if you want some cold food, you need men. But I get it. You feel, you know what? Why? I could just call for service. I don't need a man. Okay, keep believing that. The problem is older black women don't tell younger black women the truth. Us men know because we're the ones that get called over to their house to help them do shit. But they won't tell the young black women, don't do what I did. Don't you do what I did. Really, don't have an attitude like me. It didn't work out for me. My sassy ass attitude did not work out for me. Do not be a mean old lady like I am. Instead, be more understandable, cooperate with your man, be nice, take care. They don't tell young women that shit. Anyways, let's continue, you guys. The sad news of 5-time NBA champion Kobe Bryant's untimely death had barely circulated on the news wires before black women could be heard across black social media, actually crowing and celebrating his death, seeing it as just desserts for so many black women, quote, abandoning them for women of other races and ethnic backgrounds, and a perverted cautionary tale to those intrepid black men who have had enough of the gaslighting, ill treatment, and outright abuse from black American women and have decided that it's time to do something different. Clear and present evidence can be seen in this one. There's a YouTube video by K. Ellip dated January 6, 2020. It is entitled, "We Are Not Mourning the Deaths of Non-Allies Like Kobe Bryant." Of course, a video appearing on the very same channel only 4 days later, featuring a black woman named Lily Overture, discusses how when she's out and about with a white man, one who treats her much better than black men, mind you, she gets all manners of stares and hard looks. You know, society hates to see black women pampered. You can hear it for yourself at about the 9-minute mark out of a in the car presentation just over an hour long. So much for the first law of preservation. Miss Element preens on about in her anti-Kobe video, as so often is the case with so many black women, swirling for me, quote, "but not for thee." One might go along with that argument had not the other, and I argue, real reason hadn't slipped immediately after the crocodile tears show. Many black women could be heard again across black social media about the Kobe Bryant's estimated $350 million fortune and how it would now go to his non-black widow. And thus it is truly revealed the view that so many, not all, but clearly a simple majority, black women hold a view that I have long propounded, both in print and on the air, and in the midst of the rolling debate online about the rise of the SYSBM Passport Bros movement. It is the view that must be brought into the discussion as your correspondent wraps up the final chapters of his first book, aptly titled The Book of Obsidian. I promised my readers that I would produce at least one more chapter on the whole ball of wax. And if there is one good thing that can come from Kobe Bryant's tragic demise, I suppose a final word, at least for the time being, of the raging like a wildfire SYSBM debate would be it. So tighten your chin straps. Can 1,000 rappers be wrong? Can 1,000 rappers be wrong? As a cautionary, as is customary with my chapters, I began with a quotation that has some kind of bearing on the topic discussed, and to be sure, this wouldn't be the first time that I've used one from a famous rapper's song. However, you will kindly note that I've in fact used 4 quotations of famous rapper songs in today's chapter. Not only that, but hip-hop aficionados will immediately recognize the span of time of those songs. The earliest being Philly-based rap group 3 Times Dope Funky Dividends from 1988. It was followed by the smash hit Gold Digger in 1990. Houston-based rapper Mike Jones came along with the smash hit of his own back then. And then finally, another smash hit song of the same name as EPMD some 15 years earlier, but by the super produced rapper Kanye West, came on the scene in the summer of that same year. As someone who was and remains a devotee of hip hop, who DJ'd many parties, cut dozens of demo tapes in recording studios, and hung out with luminaries in the genre, not only do I know the aforementioned hits well, I can easily recount a dozen or so more songs with the same theme in my sleep. Many of those reading these words right now will know what I'm talking about. Hip hop is rife with black men who share their tales of ill-fated dealings with mostly black women whose major intent is to drain the financial lifeblood from these guys. To be sure, rappers are entertainers, and as such, there is always an element of hyperbole to what they do. But as I've demonstrated above, we're talking about rappers as diverse as the East Coast and the South, spanning 17 years. Can all of these guys be wrong? I cite all the quotes above to highlight this fact, an ugly fact, that rightly or wrongly, Black women have developed a very bad reputation for being gold diggers. It's okay, Law. I told you this. Hold on one second, guys. Jeez. All right, sorry about that. No, it's Mr. Donnie. He in it because, anyways, they fine watching TV. I cite all these quotes above to highlight the fact, an ugly one, that rightly or wrongly, Black women have developed a very bad reputation for being gold diggers, only interested in a Black man once he's become successful, and not a moment before. As noted above, this is a staple of hip hop's lyrics and is but one of many cases in point of art imitating life. 2 years ago, Atlanta-based matchmaker, dating and life coach Miss Rebecca Lynn Pope released a video on YouTube announcing that she was getting out of matchmaking for Black women business. Let me start that again. Two years ago, Atlanta-based matchmaker, dating and life coach Miss Rebecca Lynn Pope released a video on YouTube announcing that she was getting out of matchmaking for Black women's business. Why women have totally unrealistic standards for men, dating, and marriage. September 8th, 2017. Among the reasons noted was that Black women did not want to, in her words, build a boo. No, they wanted what I would say in my podcast response on the matter, a plug and play man. Ode to Rebecca Lynn. What Pope said was something that was long recognized in Black American life, dating back to at least the 80s. Hence my citing of 3 times dope. Black women, at least those who are, as I like to identify them, the loudest voices in the room, have made it crystal clear that unless you are already successful Black man with your act together and you're willing to spend a considerable amount of money on Black women, you simply need not apply. Pope's video had gone viral, at last count nearing 1 million views. Again, can so many viewers be wrong here? The feeble defenses mounted on the part of many Black women online and some Black men to these multi-decade long observations were just that, feeble. Counter arguments about guys being suckers and just wanting to be licked due to their attraction to Cardi B-like dark triad women and the like went over like a lead balloon, as did claims that other women do it too, end quote. A dead giveaway admission of guilt. Sure, there are predatory women out here of all races and backgrounds, but what our detractors fail to own up to is the sheer scale of it. Like it or not, and for whatever reason, Black women as a group are considered to be much more materialistic, predatory, and capricious than other groups of women, full stop. I don't know, I'm having a brain fart right now. Anyways. And it contributes mightily to the sorry state of dating and mating today in 21st century Black America. The harsh and ugly reality of Black American mating today. As I've noted previously in the column and a soon book, A harsh and ugly reality of today's dating and mating scene in Black America is one that calls us to see things as they are. Whatever might have been true in the past is no longer. Today, and for whatever reason, Black women in the aggregate are simply a different animal than their forebears of a bygone era. One of the many ways that they differ from Black women in the past is in the area of money, finances, and resources. Here, the much vaunted manosphere, red pill idea of the alpha fucks and beta bucks come into play. It has been both empirically documented and witnessed anecdotally, this dual mating strategy on the part of many Black women today attempt to get the best of both worlds by attracting and mating with an alpha male for his traits and genes, while either simultaneously or consecutively attracting and mating with beta males for his resources. Promises I can keep, while why poor women put motherhood before marriage, the evolution of desire, strategies, and human mating. This dual mating strategy on the part of Black women in our time has contributed considerably to nearly 80% out of wedlock birth rate, as well as the highest rate of divorce by racial and ethnic group in the entire country, much of that directly related to money. Black women are also the highest rated of female cheaters in the country. Who cheats more? Okay, I'm gonna have to tell Obsidian. He do too many quotes. He cites too many sources within the damn chapter. He just needs to put a number, and we can find it later on in the bibliography. But the fact that he puts so many quotes in here, it throws off, and it's like people don't even want to read that when you're reading the book. So I'm gonna have to hit Obsidian up. I know he's writing another book, a women's version of this, and I hope he's not doing the same thing. I get it. He's taken all of his columns and it works for an online column, but it doesn't work for a book. And so on the book side, he has to change the way he writes for his column to be adopted for a book, where it doesn't have all of these quotes and multi-line quotes in here, because that's not necessary. Anyways, let's continue. It is my opinion that the events of roughly the past half century, which saw the de facto passage of Roe versus Wade, the sexual revolution, the pill, and increased work and educational opportunities, have proven both a boon for many Black women and a bane for many Black men, particularly those deemed to be non-select Black women, now not needing no man, had the freedom and ability to sleep with whomever they choose, even reproducing with them, which many often did. However, they soon discovered that those select guys were in fact just fuckboys, who either had no interest or ability to care for their kids. They sired with these Black women, and despite all the bellowing about how they didn't need no man, reality has a way of testing your beliefs. It became clear that many Black women needed a man who had the wherewithal to do the job of raising a family. And when personal behaviors become cultural norms, is it any wonder why we have the likes of Steve Harvey, here we go with quotes again, and Derek Jackson, don't need the quotes, imploring childless bachelors like me to step up to the plate? After all, the notion that a real man accepts women and her kids has become something of a staple in Black American culture life over the past few decades, right? The deficits of dealing with the rank and file Black American woman add up bit by bitter bit, and at some point, something's got to give. It has. And its name is SYSBM. It's all about the money. As Kobe Bryant's recent death clearly shows, in the end, for many Black women, it truly is all about the money. And they have to be commended for the myriad of ways they've concocted psyops level schemes to get it. As Megan Daum cites in her wonderful work, women in general are no stranger to their own toxic behavior and are far more often than not much more skilled in emotion, social, and verbal manipulation than most men are. Quote, I know, and we go with the quotes again. However, whether it be due to non-select guys in Black America finally getting a clue as a result of the internet, or black women being so brazen as to honestly not give a fuck, what can no longer be denied is that the former has let me take it from whatever it be due however whether it be due to non-select guys in black America finally getting a clue as a result of the internet, or black women being so brazen as to honestly not give a fuck, what can no longer be denied is that the former have finally become, as they say, woke. The gig is up. The average guy now finally, in an ironic twist that would make Oscar Wilde grin, know their worth and are heading for the exits at a quickening pace. They know that many black women are out for the dough and want no part of it. And no amount of warnings about sirens in foreign lands just wanting to lick a sucker from black America are dissuading them. Either I have to say that I am amused by all the 11th hour internet wranglings about all of this. It is all over, but the shouting, but many black women and some black men honestly think they can turn the tide. With an estimated 30% of the best and brightest black men now heading for greener mating pastures, and that was prior to the 2020 U.S. Census figures soon to be announced. Along with the aforementioned oft-repeated stats on the state of things for black America along dating, mating, and family formation lines, one can only speculate as to what its fortune will look like. For my money, I maintain that the old days and old ways of such are now officially dead, and black women killed it. Rest in peace, Kobe. All right. Hold on one second, you guys. All right, moving on to the chapter 23. I'll be right back. All right, guys. Let's continue. Chapter 23, only 9 pages. 23. Thanks for hanging in there with me, guys. Who is to blame for the sorry state of dating and mating in black America today? Oh, my God. My son just spilled syrup all over my bed. Yeah, I'm more upset at me than them. Because why did I give him syrup knowing he was going to spill it somewhere? Spilled it all over my bed. So, hold on. I'm more upset at myself than, because I'm like, why did I give them syrup, and I knew he was gonna spill the syrup. Because you probably, I was a little bit optimistic, saying, "Oh, you know, he's gonna be all right. He's not gonna. He's gonna dip the pancake, eat the syrup all over the bed. It's all good." All right, guys, let's go. Who is to blame for the sorry state of dating and mating in Black America today? Who is to blame for the sorry state of dating and mating in Black America today? Who is to blame? Who do you blame for the problems that we're currently having in Black dating life? Like the reason why Black men and Black women aren't getting along. If you had to blame somebody or something, who would that be? Or what would that be? If it's a what rather than a who. Could you say it's men's fault that dating is fucked up in Black America right now? Could you say it's women's fault that dating and mating is fucked up in America right now? Oh, well, let's go. We're going to learn about it right now. With the rise of white and Black, respectively, Manosphere, Red Pill, MGTOWs, IBMORs, and incels, it has become fashionable in more recent times to scapegoat them for the reasons why society is wrong. And to be fair, these various groups of men seem adept at giving their critics plenty of ammunition. For example, incels have beatified mass murder Elliot Rodger as their patron saint for what they perceive as his striking a blow for the down and out males in supposedly gynocentric world. Putting Rodger on a pedestal has only served to generate more derision and scorn on a group of men who already were viewed as suspect. Now they are seen as and categorically written off as rank misogynists. Little Elliot Rodgers in waiting, so to speak. While all the social media rhetoric focuses on unattractive, socially awkward, clueless, and or Black men who are otherwise not on the level of supposed divine Black women as the bane of the latter existence, then when one listens to closely Black women themselves, both directly and through their surrogates, advocates, and spokespeople in the media, entertainment, and academia, an entirely different story emerges. Black women, the most vociferous group of women in American life, appear to be saying one thing on one hand and saying something completely different on another. Not to be outdone, there is a rising tide of select Black men taking to social media in their own right, who seem to delight in joining in on the dogpiling on the aforementioned group of Black men. Well, call them, hold on. Not to be outdone, there is a rising tide of select Black men taking to social media in their own right, who seem to delight in joining in on the dogpiling on the aforementioned group of Black men. We'll call them non-select for purposes of this discussion, shall we? Even going so far as to bellow that these hapless Black men are the reason for the piss poor state of dating and mating landscape of contemporary Black America. With the current state of Black America today, along these lines, the lowest marital rate on record since the U.S. Census records were kept during the Reconstruction, a nearly 80% out of wedlock birth rate, the highest divorce rates in the nation, and a level of acrimony between Black men and Black women that is the stuff of legend. One has to ask, who is responsible for such a state of affairs in Black society today? The answer to that question, my friends, is as plain as the nose on your face. Read on. The select fuckboy, the culprit. Despite the seemingly difficult situation, today's non-select guy, average guy, right? The non-select guy seems to be in Black America today. Unlike our brothers from another mother who had to wade through quite a bit of diversions to get at the truth about white women's sexual engines, this is not the case for Black women, as they are much more florid and in your face. Unlike white women who claim to want a nice guy but turn around and do something very different, for many Black women, they are quite upfront about the fact that they want a bad boy, and they will defend their right to choose those types tooth and nail. This makes our job of answering exactly who is to blame for the way things are in Black America today along mating lines quite easy. And of course, the answer is obvious. As I said in a recent appearance on O'Shea Duke Jackson's popular YouTube show, when Black women are bemoaning the quote fuckboys, they get caught up with or thinking of the fictional Steve Urkel or Carlton Banks. Are they thinking of him? To ask the question is to answer it. Of course not. They are referring to the very select guys they lusted after in the first place. And that is where the blame for current state of Black affairs in Black America rightly belongs, not on the average guy's doorstep. As I noted in last week's chapter, damaged goods, blah, 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 blah. As I noted in last week's chapter, damaged goods do not use, citing Feminista Jones' own recent testimony in this regard, it is not the average guy who have ruined Black women like herself, possibly for life, for the possibility of ever having a satisfying relationship with a good Black man. No, it was the select fuckboy's fault. Here, let me share a bit of her own testimony, written by her own hand last month on the medium.com website in a string of testimony of an essay called How to Heal from Relationship Trauma. Quote, as I sat on the floor of my bedroom and tried to calm down, I thought about it more, and deep down I knew it wasn't food poisoning. I was having a full-blown anxiety attack, and it was triggered by going on a date with a seemingly great guy. I've experienced this a few times in recent years, and each time it was after spending time with someone who either had a sexual or romantic interest in me. In those panicked, terrifying moments, my relationship trauma came flooding back, and I was overwhelmed by having the heaviness of it all. So much so that I became physically ill. Joan continues on her confessional. I've been through hell in most of my serious relationships. I try not to joke about it, but the absurdity of it sometimes leaves me with little else to do but shake my head. I tell people that if they think about some of the worst things a man can possibly do to a woman he claims to love, I'm pretty sure I've experienced most, if not all of them. These were the relationships that started out with attractive, smart, kind, and generous men for whom I willingly opened my heart and home. They were also the ones filled with betrayal, physical and verbal and emotional abuse, plus soul-crushing pain that threatened to take me out of this world and left me spiritually, emotionally, and physically broken. Oh, wait, it gets better. I had to be honest with myself and accept that the trauma I've experienced in my romantic relationships has scared me to the point that I'm triggered by behaviors that even remotely replicate the conditions under which my previous harmful relationships existed. As such, even going out with a really nice guy can unleash negative reactions because each of the very worst relationships I was in started out with a man who seemed charming, romantic, respectful, and kind. Now, of course, what Miss Jones fails to mention, as so many Black women so often do, is the detail exactly of the characteristics of the Black men had to catch her eye in the first place. To get a sense of that, we need not go further than her first literary efforts some years back, 50 Shades of Grey, knockoff in a blackface called Push the Button, where the heroine of the story is torn between two hunks of Black men, one much darker and sexually than the other, of course, taller, above average, NFL buff with a mane of flowing locks. Was she fascinated about Richard Sherman? Who knows? The main love, read sex, interest and antagonist in the book fits the bill for what turns Miss Jones crank. And we know from psychological study that such men, more often than not, exhibit the dark triad of traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Indeed, that is exactly what the antagonist of Push the Button exemplifies. In spades, and as we can see above, some 5 years later, Ms. Jones had more than purely academic research to go on when she wrote that Bodice Ripper in the first place, didn't she? As the lead-off quote to start today's column shows, sang by the funk impresario Rick James, select fuckboys love them and leave them, and use them and abuse them, which Jones recounts with vivid clarity. And they, not the average guy, are the reason for how and why Black women like Jones are so incredibly messed up, possibly for life. The Black woman, the select non-boy's accomplice. Of course, in the mating dance and in the words of Rob Bass, it takes two. In this case, for things to invariably go horribly wrong. Wait, let me start that again. Of course, in the mating dance, in the words of Rob Bass, it takes two. In this case, for things to invariably go horribly wrong. Despite her virtue signaling to the contrary, Feminista Jones, like millions of Black women today, aren't hapless victims of select fuckboys. Far from it. But rather, they are willing volunteers of their debasement, disrespect, and abuse. And they did it all because the said fuckboys, it's because he was fine. He was sexy. He was good looking. You willingly became a victim of that abuse, all because he was sexy. I don't have any hard and fast scientific proof yet. But if I had to hazard a guess, I would argue that Black women as a group are much more likely to be taken in by, quote, bad boys and thus abused because, as noted earlier, Black women are much more likely than other groups of women to be swayed by the superficial in Black men. As the excellent Essence article, Why Is It So Hard for Black Women to Find the Love They Deserve, noted 4 years ago. Essence.com says, quote, do you feel Black women and men are too particular when it comes to potential dating candidates? Fisher says, we found that as opposed to the white clients that we've had, Black women, and sidebar, ladies, I'm speaking to you right now. So you got to think about yourselves as I read this and be honest with yourself. Is this you? Fisher tells Essence Magazine, we found that as opposed to the white clients that we've had, Black women are usually looking for physical attributes first. We look for someone who is attractive to us, and then we pick up on his hobbies, his interests, and his values. Whereas our white clients are looking for the reverse first. What kind of job does he have? Is he going to be able to provide? Then they circle back. Gilmore says, we're the first ones to look at men's bodies and how attractive they are, whereas our white clients have a long list of requirements of things like character and integrity. Fisher says, and then down the line, it backfires for us because you were never a compatible mix to start with. Essence asks, do Black women have realistic dating pool expectations? Gilmore says, we have clients that have long laundry list of requirements. 6'4", PhD. He has to never been married, no children. He has to be in his late 30s or early 40s. And a lot of times we then ask them, well, what are you bringing to the table? And the answer is nowhere near all of that. Why would you expect someone to have more than what you're offering? Again, go back to Jones, push the button, and pay attention to the description of the main antagonist of the story. After that, is it really any wonder as to how and why she's a hot mess today? The revolution will not be televised, but the Black Manosphere will put it out on blast. As the select and non-select guy debate rages on in the Black Manosphere, as the Black Manosphere continues to force meaningful conversations along these lines in Black America between Black women and non-select Black men, we can expect the squawking from both the select fuckboys and the Black women who lust after them to rise in volume. But it won't matter. The cat is out of the bag and the gig is up. Average guys now know what's up, and what's more, they're going to take their being scapegoated for what ails Black America. They aren't going to take their being scapegoated for what ails Black America anymore. If Black women want to screw up their lives dealing with dark triad fuckboys, have at it. But we be damned if we're going to take the fall for it. Non-select guys are just realizing their power out here on these Black American dating and mating streets. Sure, we have our own work to do, but it pales in comparison to the truly sociopathic deficits that seem to be the standard equipment for the select fuckboys. Nor do non-select guys have to ape their supposed betters because, contrary to the beliefs of some, non-select guys are in fact quite normal. Only in bizarro land Black America are they seen as lame and abusive sociopaths like the late Rick James seen as select. Of course, only when Black women are used and abused do they lambast the very select Black men with being fuckboys and expect non-select guys to bail them out, to bail them and whatever trails in their wake. Read children, right? Kids out. Well, increasingly, non-select guys are telling such Black women to kick rocks. The average guy is telling Black women to kick rocks, and rightfully so. And we will continue to lay the blame for today's fucked up dating and mating scene in Black America where it belongs, squarely on the shoulders and backsides, respectively, of the select fuckboys and the Black women that pick them. Our job is done here. And that's chapter. So now, remember, this book is broke up in two parts, you guys. The macro and the micro. So we just read all of the macro. That was all the macro. This is the first chapter of the micro, right? Chapter 24 is the first chapter of the micro. And so we're going to read that. This is only 10 pages and then we'll be done for the day. Fuck boys and the women that select them is the reason why we're having problems with Black American dating. Fuck boys and the women that select them, the women that are having their babies over and over and over again, and then complain about him later on, all while you passed up the average guy, the good guy, the not so sexy guy, the not so tall guy, the not so anyways. All right. All the crazy ladies. There's some hoes in this house. Frank Ski. Y'all know that song. Sharon says most Black women don't care about it anymore. Yeah. Unfortunate, right? Unfortunate. RCC says no Black women care about their community anymore. They don't care about their community anymore. All right, guys. Let's knock out this last chapter. Ladies and gentlemen, for those that just joined, we are reading the Book of Obsidian, a manual for the 21st century Black American gentleman. We just finished chapter 23. We're going to knock out chapter 24, and we'll be done until Wednesday, where we knock out 25, 26, 27, and 28. We're moving into the micro. We just finished the macro. The first 24 chapters was the macro. Now we're moving into the micro. All right. Unless you've been hiding under a rock over the past few weeks, by now you've heard about two studies widely published in the media. 1/3 of American women have admitted to going out on dates with men they had absolutely no sexual or romantic interest in. Just went for the free food. Damn. And what's funny is some of those women is listening to me right now. They're not going to admit it. You're not going to admit it. You're going to make it seem like you kind of like the guy a little bit, or you're going to be convinced because you don't want to be considered a dinner whore. But the reality is, you know exactly what the fuck we're talking about, and that was you. You've gone out to dinner with guys that you had no interest in, but you went anyway because it was free food. The practice known as quote unquote foodie calls has been around forever and a staple of locker room and barbershop talk. But now we have irrefutable academic research on our side to support our suspicions. Moreover, we also have the weight of psychological profiling data that helps us identify and ultimately how to contend with dinner whores. That's my favorite term for these females. And in today's chapter, I'm going to give you the keys to the kingdom as exactly how to deal with them. But first, let's get to the study, shall we? By the numbers. As noted above, 2 studies done by universities here in the United States, where upwards of 1,200 American women were surveyed, reported results that a full 1/3 of them, 1/3 of them, that's 400, by the way. So out of 1,200 women, 400 of them reported going out on foodie calls. This was reported in the New York Post, Newsweek, and The Atlantic, among other respected media outlets. One of the major findings of the study was that the women who admitted to doing such a thing also scored high on the dark triad inventory of behavioral traits. Psychopathy, a lack of empathy for others, and an overall antisocial approach to life, which means a disregard for social norms, narcissism, an undue and vastly overinflated view of oneself and importance, as well as a sense of entitlement and Machiavellianism, a willingness to take advantage of others with little, if any, regard to how one's actions will impact others or their feelings. The dark triad is well documented, and it behooves thinking black men out on the mating scene to study these traits well for the reasons that I will make plain and clear by the end of this chapter. Going back to the findings of the study, another key insight the researchers found was that the women who scored the highest on the dark triad inventory also held strong views regarding traditional gender roles. In other words, the man is supposed to pay. That's quote unquote. And of course, it's woman's prerogative, quote unquote, as to whether she has any responsibility to reciprocate with what men want. Sex. Because let's face it, you guys, let's just face it. That is the reason any man offers to take a woman out on a date, right? As the professor, Tom Likas, has repeatedly said, and I wholeheartedly agree, dating equals porking. And any man who dates without getting sex is not only a fool, but a broke one at that, messing around with these psychotic broads. Yes, you read that right. These women who knowingly use and abuse men are crazy. And we can now say that with confidence because the stats, studies, and research are in. Sidebar, ladies, you are fucking crazy if you've gone out on dates with somebody you was not romantically interested in, but you went anyways to get food. We're talking about you. Don't make it seem like you here and you talking about somebody else. You're the one we're talking about. It's always a trip when everybody be like, they get around when they have these conversations and they make it seem like we're talking about somebody else. No, you are the subject at hand. You is who we're talking about. And this is the litmus test. If you went out on dates and you had no interest, you had no sexual interest, no romantic interest in that guy, but you went out on a date with him anyway and you got some food, bam. You are a problem. You are a problem. And you need to get some help. And I know you don't believe that, but that's just the way it is. And that's why you're probably here listening to this shit anyway, and you can't get the outcomes that you're looking to get. The hard truth. Why it matters, though. Well, aside from the aforementioned, the reasons why these studies matter to men today, and thinking black men in particular, are varied. One, because up until now, men never had any smoking gun proof that quite a large number of American women did this sort of thing. Per my back of the envelope math based on statistical sampling of nearly 1,200 American women surveyed works out to around 60 million American women. I don't know about you, but that's a lot of crazy broads in my book. But now, as I've said above, we've got the proof. Second, it matters because we have evidence that this is yet another clear and flagrant double standard that women are perfectly fine to let it be. Why do I say that? Because the media also recently reported a man who also engaged in foodie calls known as Dine and Dash. Oh, y'all remember that? And I think he was getting prosecuted because he was going to dinners with women and making them pay, and then that was it. But I think he got in trouble. Anyways, let's read. Why do I say that? Because the media also recently reported a man who also engaged in foodie calls known as Dine and Dash, where he would take a woman out, order a fine meal, and dip out on her just before the check came. He was arrested. Yes, the dude was arrested. While women who are dinner whores are not. If this isn't a clear case of the double standard at work in our society today, then the term has no meaning, my friends. Sidebar, do y'all remember that case? Anybody remember that dude? Anybody remember that dude? I remember that dude. It was this really good, handsome guy who would go out on dates with women. And then he would order up a great dinner, eat, go to the bathroom, and never come back. And he made it a point of doing this. They arrested his ass. They arrested his ass. That was illegal somehow. Women can do that all day long. Women dine and dash like a motherfucker. No recourse. Right? No big deal, right? It's just part of the game, I guess, ladies. Let's continue. Third, and picking up on the above point, up until now, the dark triad of behavioral traits was only studied in the context of men. Hold on, let me turn my heater on in my house. It's getting cold in here. 73. Nah, let's take it to 70, 78. All right. Third, in picking up on the above point, up until now, the dark triad of behavioral traits was only studied in the context of men. And if you spend any length of time on social media, there is a lot of chatter from lay women and self-styled experts alike, droning on and on about narcissistic men and so forth. Now, don't get me wrong. As the dine and dash guy clearly illustrates, dark triad guys most definitely do exist. And I, for one, make no apologies or excuses for them. In my view, Mr. Dine and Dash was rightly held accountable by the authorities for his behavior. There's no question that his behavior ranks high on the dark triad inventory. He is every bit as psychotic, narcissistic, Machiavellian as the crazy women we're examining in today's chapter. But only very recently have researchers turned their focus onto the psychopathy of American women, of which I strongly suspect is legion. After all, we do know that a full 25% of American women are currently being treated for some form of mental illness. So what's good for the goose is also good for the gander. It's high time that the maladaptive behaviors of women be put under the microscope. In fact, it's long overdue. A fourth and final reason as to why all this matters is because thinking black men can and should have access to information with which to make sound decisions in all areas of life. And that includes in the area of mating, be that short of longer term. Black men need to know about the crazy broads in their midst, who, as the study above makes clear, can and will have no qualms in the least to use you up every chance they get. Keep in mind that one woman in the study in particular freely admitted to going out on as many as 55 foodie calls. Forewarned is forewarned indeed. On the black hand side. So that brings us to the inevitable question. Just how many black American women are dinner whores? In our identity politics driven, quote, woke era, this is very important question to ask. Since our detractors and critics can be easily heard grousing about how we black men are just running with the white man's statistics on the matter, right? Besides, how many black women were studied and surveyed? For all we know, this could have been a white woman problem, right? Well, as it turns out, while we don't have any academic peer-reviewed data to go on, we do have mountains of anecdotal evidence that not only bears out that when it comes to foodie calls, being dinner whores, yes, black women do it too. After all, hip hop music wouldn't be the global phenomenon it is were that not the case. Every black man reading this knows that lots of black women are dinner whores, so much so that the practice is seen as part and parcel of the game. The never-ending struggle of seeing who can get over on each other in the sexual relations between black men and women. And as it turns out, we do have an we do have a bit of academic examination on this matter in the form of excellent work, Street Rise, Race, Class, and Change in the Urban Community by Elijah Anderson, who perhaps is best known for his subsequent work, Code of the Streets, written in 1990. Anderson's insights on today's topic were truly prescient. Please allow me to share the following relevant quote. Quote, "The good black man is one who is considerate of his mate and provides for her and her children. But at the same time, he runs the risk of being seen as a pussy by the women as well as his peer group. This inversion in the idea of the good man underscores the ambient position of girls squeezed between the middle class dreams and the ghetto reality. As one woman said with a laugh, there are so many sides to the bad man. We see that, especially in this community, we see more bad men than we do good. I see them running over that man if he's a wimp." We thank Professor Anderson for his tireless work of documenting life in the inner city Black America, and his, quote, Streetwise powerfully informs my own work as a budding dating coach focused on the particular concerns of Black American men in this regard. Stay tuned for future columns where we will dive more deeply into Anderson's work. Sidebar. So, fellas, when we talk about dinner whores, when we talk about the woman that goes out on dinner, do you guys have a friend that pops up in your mind just now? Like, I got like 6 Black women that pop up in my head right now that I know go out on dates with dudes that I know that she's not even interested in. She's not even interested. Like, fellas, like, do you guys, like, right now, when you think of how many women pop in your head when you think of the woman who goes out on dates with dudes and you know that she's not interested in that dude, but she went on a date anyway? I'm thinking 6. I really want to say their names, but I ain't trying to blast none of the homies or my past exes. We know somebody that does that. There's no scientific data. We got it, but we got this anecdotal evidence. We know. And ladies, more so than the men, because see, for us, it's speculation, because all the women got to do is say, oh no, but I did like him. And then that's supposed to be it. Yeah, then what happened? Oh, it didn't pan out. Or there's a myriad of reasons as to why it didn't work out romantically or sexually, right? That a woman could come up with. But you know who knows the actual truth is women. Women can say, yeah, I know some girls who go out with these dudes and they don't have no interest in him. In fact, I'm one of those girls. And yes, that's a psychological problem. You have an issue. That's the Machiavellianism that he's talking about. You have no regard about how anybody else feels. You don't give a fuck about them. It's all about you. You. The only thing that matters is you. Selfish. You selfish motherfucker. You. I'm talking to you, ladies. You selfish motherfucker. People ask me, Shannon, I answered a question on TLA's show one time. A woman had asked, well, how am I supposed to, if you want me to have a low body count, but then you want me to consider having sex with guys that are going, how do I make it to date 2 and 3 with a bunch of guys? How do I make it on the 2nd and 3rd date without having sex with a bunch of guys and then keep my body count low? My answer, I went up on the show and I told him, I said, simple, don't go out on a date with somebody that you're not ready to fuck. The answer is super simple, ladies. Don't go on dates anymore with somebody that you are not sexually attracted to and ready to give some pussy to, period. At that point, guess what you eliminate? 1, a high body count. 2, wasting people's times. Oh, but then that means you don't get to go out on dates that often anymore. That means you don't get to go out and get that free food. Yeah, that's what that means. That means that you're considering somebody else. That means you're not wasting somebody's time going out on a date with him, knowing that he is interested in you, but you're not interested in him. You know he will fuck you that night if you let him. If you say, are you coming back to the house? Maybe we could watch, maybe we could. If you told a guy, yeah, are you coming back to the house? Maybe we could watch a little, snuggle up and watch a little TV. He's going to be like, hell yeah. Right? That's what he wants. But if you're not willing to say that, don't go on a date. But how am I supposed to get to know him? Don't get to know him. Talk to him on the phone. Talk to him on the phone. Get to know him on the phone. FaceTime. You got all this technology now. Now you can just FaceTime him. You want to get to know him. You don't need to go out and have him spend money to get to know him. That's how that works, ladies. Stop going out on dates with men that you're not ready to fuck. Period. And if that means that you just stop going out on dates now, good. Low body count. All right, let's continue. Returning to the question, as you can clearly see above, many Black American women engage in the practice of foodie calls and dinner whoring, seeing absolutely nothing with it all, since the good Black man is a pussy anyway, right? After carefully considering the initial studies on the matter and taking Professor Anderson's work into account, along with my own experience and observation over the years, I have concluded that an estimated 50%, 1 in 2, all Black American women are what I refer to as pro dinner hoes. That is to say that they frequently engage in the practice at least several times a month and a lifetime overall average of at least a half a dozen times, while another estimated 40% of Black American women are what I call semi-pro dinner hoes. These are Black American women who engage in foodie call practice occasionally, usually when ends aren't meeting, they ain't got their money right, and there's more month at the end of their money, and so on. On average, the semi-pro dinner hoe do it perhaps once a month or every other month, etc. You get the idea. A full 90% of Black American women being dinner hoes is a staggering, sobering even thing to contemplate. But when one considers the above evidence brought forth by Professor Anderson, as well as hip hop's long and venerated career discussing these and related matters in meter and verse, things are brought into sharper perspective. Then there's the documented facts that Black women have an average net worth of $5 and that Black women have the highest amount of school debt as a group, with an average net worth being a negative 11 grand. And it's not all hard to see how so many Black women would be indeed a dinner hoe. After all, they would have the motive and opportunity. Put this together with the fact that when I took to the airwaves with these studies, the sheer outpouring of butthurt and rage on the part of sisterhood writ large, pardon the pun, only puts the capstone on this section of today's chapter. Only the hit dogs holler, right? The solution to how to deal with dinner whores. This is for the fellas. Yeah, ladies, I don't know what y'all talking about over here in the chat, but I'm just want to be clear. No more dating anybody that you aren't ready to fuck. Well, I don't want to. No, then don't go. Some guys will tell you, hey, let's go hang out. Let's go grab a bite to eat. And you're like, why? Ask him why. No, I just want to go grab a bite to eat. It's on me. What's your motive? Why would you pay? Why do you want to do that? I'll pay. No, I ain't gonna let you pay. Why not? Why not? Tell him no. The guy that called you up and says, hey, let's go grab a bite to eat real quick. It's all good. Say no. I'm not doing that. Why not? Because I don't want you to think that you're going to get some pussy later on. Oh, girl, that ain't the reason why. I'm not even going to that's not even, I don't want to have sex with you. Then to be like, okay, cool. Then we don't need to go on a date. We don't need to go out on a date. Well, I just want to hang out and talk. Well, call me. Just want to put that out there. Decline the offers, ladies, of somebody saying, let's go grab a bite to eat. Don't even say yes if he's not on the list of somebody you'll take to Pound Town. All right. Let's go. The solution as to how to deal with dinner whores. Fellas, this is for you. With all that has been discussed above, things look harrowing indeed, and even a bit depressing. After all, if so many black women in particular, and a full on 1/3 of American women overall are dinner whores, how does one deal with them all? The easy answer, of course, is to avoid them altogether. Not a bad idea, right? But that's about as realistic as all the other quote unquote advice so many quote experts give on dating and mating today. The simple truth is that you're likely to run afoul of dinner whores, especially if you're operating in Black America. And as you might as well get really good at dealing with them. So I've got 3 simple solutions. Listen up. Fellas, this is for you. Ladies, this is not for you. Ladies, this is not for you. Fellas, this is for you. All right? This is for you. One, fellas, you got to know the signs. As the New York Post article points out, the dark triad women exhibit clear and present traits and behaviors that are incredibly easy to spot. They're easy to spot, bro. These would include things like excessive use of social media, full of selfies. I mean, she just got a shit ton of fucking pictures of herself, selfies, and the like. And said selfies tend to be highly sexually suggestive selfies. Sexually suggestive at that. Holding and loudly expressing traditional gender role views. Especially when it comes to men. Something very easy to spot when it comes to Black women and so on. Simply put, you want to be on the lookout for Black women who make it a point to make themselves be seen. In some way, almost always through social media platforms like Instagram or Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and so on. They're always on because narcissists crave constant attention and what is known as narcissistic supply. That leads me to the next point. All right. So that's the first thing I want you fellas to pay attention to when it comes to looking for these dinner hoes. All right. The woman who's always on social media, is always fucking checking her DMs, is always scrolling through Instagram, can't put Instagram down, is always want to see how many likes she got, is always in her DM. That woman, always in the stories and shit. And she got just story on story on story and photo on photo on photo, right? Selfies, especially. That's number one. That's what the first thing you want to look for. Number 2, he says, avoid online dating. Again, this is where me and Obsidian disagree, right? I believe in online dating can work for men, but let's read what Obsidian says. Avoid online dating. Dark triad women literally patrol the dating apps and online dating websites like Tinder and Plenty of Fish and OkCupid, looking for desperate, thirsty, and foolish men to take advantage of. Don't do it, fellas. As famed pickup artist Mystery has said so well, the game is in the field. Amen, bro. Indeed it is. You will never get good with women if you rely on online dating stuff. And as this chapter makes clear, you will also make yourself a bright target for dinner holes. So don't do it. Just don't. Instead, fellas, focus on refining your game in the field. That is to say, in real-time interactions with women as much as possible. After all, a gentleman has a social life anyway, right? You should be out and about, frequently chopping it up with folks in general, and yes, women in particular. We will discuss this in future columns, so stay tuned. And the final thing, fellas, that you can do, should do, must do to contend with dinner hoes is this. Make an itinerary. Number 3, make an itinerary. That's right. Make an itinerary. Since women in general, and black women in particular, have made it clear that they want men to approach, plan, and pay for dates, we're going to do just that, but with a twist. And this is where we get dinner whores caught up in the net. We will do all that they ask on the provision that they are going to put out. That's because it's right there in the motherfucking itinerary for the evening. We make it clear what's the night activities is going to entail, complete with fantastic sex. And we require said date whore to either opt in or opt out of the deal in writing. Email is your friend, fellas. If this sounds wild to you, don't worry. It is wild. But I will also walk you through step by step as to how to do it. This move will weed out the dinner whores, and I already know what you're going to say. But what if she lies, bro? What if she changes her mind? No problem. No problem. Uncle O's got you covered. I will be addressing all this by and by in this chapter. So in a future chapter, obviously. So stay tuned. In the meantime, just know that your suspicions have been confirmed. There's some dinner hoes out in this house, and if you see one, point them out. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all our reading for today. Whew. Hold on. And close that out. We'll open this up. Dinner hoes. Fellas, can you imagine? So real quick. Fellas, can you imagine? You're getting ready to go on a date with somebody, and women they talk about plan it out. And part of the plan was you added a hotel at the end of the night. Imagine you saying, yeah, we're gonna go out to this show. We're gonna watch this show. It's a great show. They doing a live performance over at the Orpheum. And then after that, I'm gonna go grab us a bite to eat. Seafood up on the rooftop downtown. It's gonna be a great dinner. And then of course I've already rented I've already booked us a room in the hotel below. I booked us a room in the hotel below where we'll just spend the night, and we can get room service if necessary, but we'll stay there till the morning. She's gonna be like, "What? The fuck you talking about? What are you talking about?" And you're like, "Yeah, what do you mean? I planned it out. It's all planned out. Everything is booked. Put it on my card. It's all paid for. It's all good to go. We're gonna see a show. We're gonna get some food. We're gonna go to the hotel. We're gonna fuck. Yeah. Aren't you with that?" "No, I'm not with that. I'm not having sex with you. I don't even know you." "Oh, but you okay with me spending $200-300 on dinner? You don't know me either. You don't know me there. You don't know me there. Yet you'll go there, no problem. For me to drop $200-300 on you for the evening, and you want to do that 2-3 times before you think you're gonna consider having sex? Oh, wait a minute. How about this? You probably aren't interested in having sex with me already. So then, why are we going out to dinner?" Fellas, imagine that you sent her an itinerary of what you guys are going to do that night. Imagine that. Miss Drea says, "Let's go on a hike. I got my own bottled water." Sharon says, "I always cook dinner Most still expect sex. I had to put the man out of my house. See, that's different. Now, if you got a woman, but Sharon, are you inviting strangers to your house? And if that's cool, because I think that's cool. I think it's okay. I've invited strangers to my house. I understand. I know that there's a level of, there's a safety concern to a degree, but the way the world works today is that we could do a hell of a background check on some people. We know. Like, nigga, I know who you are. I know who you are. I see all your I know all of these people. Your people is my people's people. My people already know that you. So it's okay for you to come over. It's all good. But if you cooking for somebody, then I don't necessarily think that you should expect sex. Fellas, if she's cooking for you, I don't think you should necessarily expect anything. We're talking about the dinner whores that goes out and wants to read a menu. And wants to go out to dinner and read, and you're reading a menu and you're ordering on the menu, and then you ordering $14 glasses of wine, right? $15 desserts. So it depends. If you cooking, this doesn't apply. Because let me keep something real with you. Most women don't cook today, no way. See, I'm talking to a woman, who cooks. Who said that? Was that M. Mills that said that, or was that Sharon? No, that was Sharon. Sharon says she cooks. She says, I always cook dinner and still most expect sex. Sharon, maybe you fine. I don't know what you look like, Sharon. All I see is a big green S. But Sharon, you might be, listen. Maybe you just that fine, baby. Maybe you just that motherfucking sexy. Can you blame them? And you cook? Okay, first of all, they don't even make them like that no more. They discontinued that model long ago. The women that cook, they don't make those kind no more. I'm here to attest to that. They don't make women that cook no more. They do not make women that cook anymore. And if you fine and cook, oh, come on. So you're an exception to the rule. You are an exception to the rule, Sharon. And then you got Drea who says, look, why don't we just go work out? We could just go, we can go hike, because on a hike, if we do a 3-mile loop through the canyon, then we can talk and get to know each other during the loop. I can understand what you do and how you do it and what you think and how you think. You can learn those things from me while we're out here hiking. We're working out our body. So a lot of women, but see, you got to understand something, Drea. There's a lot of women who look at that as a sucker move. There's a lot of women who say, oh, you want to work out? Ew. Yeah, bitch. Ew. Yeah, I do want to work out, but you don't want to do that? Okay, then cool. I ain't the guy for you. These are the women that grow old. These are the women that I often see that rolled the fucking cock carousel for 20 years, through their entire 20s, through their entire 30s, and now they 40 something chasing after Shan, saying, hey, big head. And I'm like, no, I already know how you think. I already know that you're not gonna play me. I already know how you think. What? No, why you wasn't checking for somebody? What are you talking about? Why? Because you know what? Somebody who wanted to hike with you 20 years ago, he was corny, right? He was a cornball. You was like, oh no, I need to go out on a date. So yeah, Drea, you're not normal. But then you guys are my regulars. Sharon, Drea, Marvelette, Lakeisha, Princessa. See, these women are exempt. I'm not even talking to them. I'm talking to the women that's just listening quietly. I'm talking to the ladies that are just sitting here listening to me right now and ain't saying nothing. You are who I'm talking to, you dinner hoe. I'm talking to the dinner hoes that's listening to me now. I'm trying to reprogram your software so you can get better outcomes, because as long as you think that going out on a first date needs to be fans, and then you got some beta suckers out there who are out there pumping you up, making you believe, they telling you some bullshit. You just don't know. It's I got so many. I got friends on Clubhouse that have rooms who be out there telling women the shit that they want to hear just so they can get some. That's their way of getting pussy. By pushing and promoting and pumping up women, telling them good, wonderful things and dogging out men just so they can get a leverage up. I mean, just so they can get a leg up with women. It's weird, but it happens. It happens. So yeah, you guys. Emil says, let's just go walking. Let's just go walking. I don't know, man. There's so much that we need to do. Either way, I got syrup all over my sheets from my sons. Let me go. I know my bedroom is tore up. So let me go. They don't fuck up their bedroom. They fuck mine up. Because let me go throw my sheets on a sanitary 2-hour cycle. Go wash those. And then we'll be back later on today with High Value Shan and some Check This Out shows. I appreciate you guys. We'll be back. We'll be back Wednesday to read some more. Everybody, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and join the army. We have a discussion over at sidebar.shannonrawls.com. Please join our Facebook group. Lakeisia is really leading a lot of discussions over there. Thank you, Lakeisia, for that. She's making posts. We have a private. Excuse me. We have a private Facebook group that I want you guys to all join. So please join us over there. Appreciate you. Okay. My name is Mr. Shannon. Thank you for reading along with us. Remember, reading is the way to expand your mind and your bank account. Tune in next time to Rich People Read. Tune in next time to Rich People Read. And everybody throw your ones up to Marvelette.
Being number one isn't easy.
Everybody throw your ones up to Marvelette. She says, love you back, Marvy. Love you back, Marvy. Marvy, does anybody else call you Marvy, or is that my nickname? Did I create that nickname? Did anybody else create it and I adopted it and I forgot that I stole it from them? I don't know. Love you too, Marvy. Appreciate you. Everybody throw your ones up to Marvy.
Being number one isn't easy.
She always supports the channel. She's always pouring into the channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Everybody, go to the sidebar conversations over at Facebook, and we'll make you a member of our Facebook group. It's a private Facebook. We appreciate you guys. Talk to you soon. You, my friends, are dismissed.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marvelette.
Mío en tu habitación, solo los 2 segundos que hay que detener. Porque si no siento tu voz o tu olor, te extraño y te quiero ver. Quiero ver. Tanto me falta. Todas esas noches tan soñadas. Que me levantes sin mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicada.
Hey! Javaro!
Me haces falta, bebé. Dime
Everybody,
qué
throw your
tengo
ones
que
up.
hacer pa' tenerte de una vez.
Throw your ones up to Javaro. He's a co-sponsor.
Eres mi bombón. Te quiero, me lo
Everybody throw your ones up for Javaro. Where's he? I gotta put his name up. I gotta put his name in lights, y'all. I gotta add him to the list.
Más amor, pa' mí no es suficiente. Yo quiero tu calor.
Javaro. Shout out to Javaro. Oh, and look. Sharon. Javaro.
Being number one isn't easy.
Appreciate you, bro. Javaro is so charming, and he's still blessed the channel. Thank you so much, Javaro. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate it. I hate that I'm gonna miss you tomorrow during the workout. But, so much for supporting the channel and being one of my day one. Thank you so much. And also Sharon. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate you. Sharon hit us with a $5 blessing. Sharon hit us with a $5 blessing. Thank you so much, Sharon. I appreciate you.
Queriendo más amor, a mí no es suficiente. Yo quiero tu calor, tú y yo, con esa conexión. Somos lo que la gente no ha visto de los dos. Tanto me falta, todas esas noches tan soñadas, que me levantes a mirar. Tú tienes pinta de indicar, tanto me falta, todas esas noches tan soñadas, que me levantes a mirar.
Being number one isn't easy.
Shout out to Teenage Tube, and especially my guy Javaro Forbes for supporting the channel as he always does. Javaro